Hello and welcome. As we approach the development of the 2020 year in review, we knew we had many items we wanted to share with the TAA membership. The COVID health pandemic has had a harsh impact on the airport industry after coming off a record year for air travel. However, it has not beaten us, and we will persevere. Our industry has not only worked to maintain the safest and cleanest environments possible, it has also revealed new ideas and best practices that have been invaluable on the path to recovery. This State of the Airport video is intended to highlight the challenges and successes and focus on how our team worked together for the benefit of the Southern Arizona region. Between updates from our vice presidents, please enjoy brief features of TAA employees and how they keep our airport running nonstop.
As Danette said, 2020 will be long remembered as the year of COVID-19, and rightfully so. The pandemic infected more than 54,000 people in Pima County, sadly including 800 who lost their lives. There's no way that impact can be minimized. Through it all, I must tell you how impressive it has been to see the response by our Tucson Airport Authority team members. As TAA board members, we are not on the front lines of our airport's operations. Still, I cannot emphasize how proud I am of the team that is out there every day assuring that Tucson International Airport is as safe as possible.
Welcome, everyone.
I am so pleased that this year the TAA has an agreement that will keep Danette Bowie as our president and CEO for at least the next 5 years. With the COVID vaccine rolling out, we all hope we can return to some semblance of normalcy. Toward that end, I hope you will also notice some of the actions taken to assure that both Tucson International and Ryan Field remain vital economic contributors for our region. As Tucson Airport Authority members, I hope you share my pride and enthusiasm for the future of our airports, and make sure you share that pride with everyone you know.
My name is Gabriela Martinez. I'm a custodial supervisor. We got a new equipment that we're using, and we're being able to disinfect the entire terminal hourly. It starts killing viruses in 60 seconds and encapsulates, like if we go with one pass, it's encapsulating everything that is on that area. We have all the PPE that we need, and we're being able to go home safe. Our team is really good, and they're tackling everything. We're like family. That's how I feel.
Since the start of the pandemic, we have searched for ways to make the passenger's time at Tucson International Airport a touchless journey. That is clear in our TUS Cares investments and policy changes. Many of these are meant to slow the potential spread of COVID-19. Some are intuitive enough that they will outlast the pandemic and become permanent fixtures for us. You just saw some of the incredible technology that our custodial team now has at their disposal. From disinfecting foggers to handrail cleaners, frontline workers can increase efficiency without the worry of missing a spot. Early in the pandemic, we knew face coverings would become essential. That's why we mandated them before other local and state agencies did. FEMA provided 140,000 masks, and we have given away upwards of 10,000 to travelers and continue to do so. The TAA has invested more than $250,000 to support TUS Cares initiatives, including UVC light sanitizing systems, acrylic shields for transaction counters, toe tap buttons for elevators, and you can't miss it, all the TUS Cares signage reminding folks about CDC recommendations. This dedication to hygiene and public safety helped us earn the Global Biorisk Advisory Council's STAR accreditation. TUS at the time was the 5th airport in the nation to earn this highly regarded recognition from the internationally recognized expert on clean facilities. We strive to lead from the front. An example is our partnership with Pima County Health Department and Paradigm Laboratories to offer free COVID-19 testing on site. We were the first airport in Arizona to provide this free PCR testing at no charge to travelers. Since we began in November, Paradigm Labs has tested close to 10,000 passengers, airport personnel, and people living in the greater Tucson area. We provide an essential service, and it's important to remember the community we serve.
Can you copy a public decided check?
The Tucson Airport Authority Police Department completed its Safe Policing for Safe Communities certification through the Justice Department. Speaking of certifications, all 3 of our K9 teams aced their TSA exams. For us, compliance is not enough. We strive for excellence, not only in our TSA certification, but our FAA certification as well. It's an ongoing process, and we appreciate the support of our federal partners.
Travelers rely on airports, and we depend on them for a significant portion of the revenues that sustain our operations. As many people chose not to travel in 2020, we are fortunate to have additional revenue streams that don't depend directly on our passenger numbers. Throughout the pandemic, we have continued to provide essential aviation services to our community. Our passenger numbers dropped to near zero in the early days of the pandemic and recovered only to less than half of 2019's totals for the remainder of 2020. That experience is not unique to us, and in fact, TOS saw higher passenger numbers relative to the previous year than most airports throughout the country and the world. In the midst of the dramatic decrease in air travel, the TAA is proud to say that air carriers are still committed to Tucson. While almost all of our nonstop destinations remain intact, frequencies on most routes are less than they were pre-pandemic. Despite the downturn, we have even seen new destinations being added. Southwest Airlines launched a new nonstop destination in November, beginning 6 nonstop flights per week to Houston Hobby Airport. In addition to offering convenient connections to the East Coast and southeastern U.S., Hobby is an international gateway for Southwest with connections to Latin America and the Caribbean. This March, Southwest will also begin nonstop service to Oakland International Airport. Because of our sound long-term approach to managing the finances of our airport system, the TAA, TUS, and Ryan were positioned well to weather the impacts of the pandemic. However, we can never take our industry or its challenges for granted. We have implemented a number of cost control measures to ensure we remain nimble and a low-cost airport for our airline partners. For these reasons, and along with financial assistance for airports from the federal government through the CARES Act, the TAA is in good position to offset revenue shortfalls and remain financially strong as air travel recovers over the coming years.
Come on. Come. I'm Officer Byer, badge number 29 with the police department. This is K9 Yeva. Yeva, who's a good girl? Who's my good girl? Huh? We've been together since July 10th after our introduction. Spent 3 months in San Antonio, Texas together. Good girl. Good. Who's the best bomb dog we have? We're getting along very well, as you can see. We go everywhere and do everything together, as a team is supposed to. That's my good girl. I have yet to see anybody recoil at the idea of seeing a dog, a German Shepherd in particular, coming that close. What they would think we're doing, if it's an untrained eye and just a casual observer, that I'm walking my puppy. That's really what people are looking for. When in actuality, I'm just giving her an opportunity, get her nose up in the air and see what she tells me.
Very good. Yes, good girl.
That was great.
Yeah.
If there was ever a time to need a strategic plan, 2020 was that time. We could have never predicted how this year would pan out as the executive team put our heads together for the first ever comprehensive strategic plan in the history of our organization. That's why we reshaped our 5-year goals and guiding principles into the board-approved living document that now outlines our path forward over the next 3 years. All TAA team members are encouraged to give effect to our guiding principles in the strategic plan, to deliver results, to work smart, to be curious, and to play for the team. We challenge ourselves to demonstrate these principles, not just in the work that we do, but how we do that work and how we treat one another. Employees are encouraged to calculate risks, break down silos that house our different departments, and work together like never before. Each department has crafted their own strategic plans to pinpoint how they will deliver key aspects of the larger organization-wide plan. While we may become wrapped up in our day-to-day duties, we must remember our work is in support of one another and the TAA as a whole. A sense of place in our organization in the Southern Arizona region is evident in our airport employee community effort, where events are planned and individual donations are made to support a variety of charitable organizations. Our AECE committee raised enough money to provide hundreds of laptops to students in the Sunnyside Unified School District. As education shifted to remote learning, this technology is just what our neighboring school children needed. The pandemic forced many of us to prioritize our needs versus our wants. It's been a long meditation on what really matters most. AECE and the Tucson Airport Authority Fire Department rallied colleagues to collect boxes upon boxes of goodies for this year's Toys for Tots campaign. The TAA Police Department also raised money to adopt a family in our neighborhood. One of the many ways we show gratitude to those who serve our country is in this military lounge. More than $100,000 in community donations have this facility ready to pass even the strictest spot check. We cut the ribbon on it in January of 2020, if you believe that. Thanks again to all our donors and the Saddlebrook community for continuing to keep the food and supplies fully stocked. Another community effort is the TAA Wheels Up Scholarship Program for the students in the aviation program at Pima Community College here at the airport. The TAA provides 3 $2,500 scholarships each year to students selected through the Pima Community College Foundation. This scholarship demonstrates our commitment to education and to helping the pipeline for the aviation and technology workforce.
My name is Paul Nathy, and I'm a firefighter with the Tucson Airport Authority Fire Department.
And what they're doing just blows me away. My boy's coming home.
The COVID pandemic that's going on, he didn't get to have any kind of a ceremony for graduating high school. As the plane was taxiing through Alpha 7 towards the terminal, we had 2 streams of water touching to allow them to kind of go under the water bridge. Kind of give them a nice little ceremony, a nice little welcome home. We had the fire engine parked, as well as a few members of the fire department from Rincon Valley, the fire chief and so forth, and then family and friends of the Cornejo family, so that as he came down to the welcome center, they could all greet him, take pictures, and give him congratulations from that point on. If there's anything that we can do to help be uplifting and encouraging to members of our community, whether they're here at the airport or members of Tucson, we want to be able to try and take that second step, that extra step, to make sure that we put that effort in and really give them the recognition that they deserve and provide some of that encouragement to the community. We definitely could use it right now. Everybody could use some.
Pursuing commercial and industrial economic development opportunities to broaden existing revenue streams and develop new economic opportunities for the benefit of the entire region is a top priority for the TAA. There has been no stoppage of economic development over the year. In June, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries acquired the commercial aircraft division from Bombardier. The sale included transfer to Mitsubishi of the Tucson Service Center at TUS for maintenance, support, and refurbishment of the CRJ series of aircraft. Despite the sale of the commercial aircraft division, Montreal-based Bombardier kept and continues to operate its facility at TUS to service business jets. The TUS Service Center is Bombardier's largest in North America. One of our major fixed-base operators, Atlantic Aviation, completed nearly $3 million in improvements and expansion. Their lease is also extended to June 2037. Executive Air, formerly known as Premier Aviation, also completed a $3 million tenant improvement project, which consisted of constructing a new 12,000 square foot hangar and pilot lounge facility and rehabilitation of their apron. And though construction slowed in 2020, Pima Community College remains committed to finishing expansion of its aviation program here at TUS. On April 3, 2020, the merger of the Raytheon Company and United Technologies Corporation was completed, creating an aerospace conglomerate valued at $86 billion. As part of the merger, the company determined it would maintain its division headquarters here in Tucson, where it is the TAA's largest tenant, with about 13,000 employees. Raytheon spent $550 million in 2019 and 2020 on the expansion of its campus at TUS.
We have thought about it, talked about it, and planned for it for years. I'm talking about the Airfield Safety Enhancement Program, which broke ground in the fall of 2020.
2, 1.
ACE, as we call it, is the largest project in our organization's history. So it's wonderful to include so many stakeholders in the official groundbreaking.
All of you earned your spot to be on this team.
Our airfield is safe. However, the approach to eliminate hotspots, demolish and relocate a parallel runway, and an improved taxiway system and to make other geometry changes are critical to ensure current federal safety and standards are met. ACE is already contributing so much to our region. Dozens of consultants and contractors are involved in the design, construction, and coordination of the various build components. In a few years, new and expanding businesses will look at our improved airfield as a consideration for operating in southern Arizona. We want the airport to come to mind when people think of Tucson. General aviation pilots arriving from international destinations certainly will. Our historic control tower is the new home of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. It is the 24-hour port of entry for this region. It's a recognizable landmark for pilots and terrific use of space. Our partnership with the federal agency has put them in a proper facility to meet the needs of international travelers and those who need to interact with CBP and the Global Entry Program. Anyone arriving in Tucson without their own wheels will soon enjoy a streamlined search for a ride. All ground transportation providers will pick up passengers in the same area. With so many options available at TUS, we want each one to be as convenient as the next. Reserve a rideshare, call a cab, or step onto a shuttle. Whatever you need, it can be found at the ground transportation area directly in front of the terminal.
My name is Omar Rodriguez and I'm a fleet mechanic here at Tucson Airport. Usually when I do meet someone and I tell them I work at the airport, the first question I get asked is, do I work on airplanes?
Right now we're just checking all the fluids and making sure that everything is working correctly.
ARF Master, it's a lot of studying and it's a long testing process. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it is very overwhelming. Having to juggle so much information and jumping from a heavy truck to a piece of equipment to a vehicle, it's a lot to kind of absorb. The title doesn't help you fix a problem when you don't know what's going on. It's that you have everybody here to ask for help, and you know, when you don't see something, another pair of eyes tends to see something, and if you don't have any sense of direction, or when you've exhausted everywhere you can go, there's always someone else. Well, did you try this, or how about that, or how about if I take a look at it? And that, to me, I think gives someone the confidence to pretty much tackle anything that happens here.
The mission of the TAA is to provide a sustainable airport system and constantly pursue initiatives that promote and grow business opportunities. We've demonstrated that we can effectively and efficiently manage through a pandemic, and through it all, never lost focus on our ability to deliver exceptional safety, security, and customer service to our community. I thank you for your support and your advocacy. 2021 provides us the opportunity to continue our recovery and to align and engage. Watch out, because we've only just begun.